Caught by Carter. Makes a man miss. Lost the football, and the Jets recover. John Franklin Myers blasted up the middle.
The Jets head west in search of their first victory of the season as they take on the Broncos in Denver. And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Numbers Game presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. I'm your host, Dan Graca. Pleased to be joined, as always, by my co-host from the NFL Network. It is Cynthia Frelund. Cynthia, 2 weeks in already. The season is moving fast. How are you?
I mean, we're like almost 12% done, but that means we've got 88% left to go. So I'm good because there's a lot of football still ahead of us.
I'll do the math after the show to make sure that that's accurate. But I trust you because, after all, that's why we do this show. It's called the Numbers Game. Last week, the numbers didn't add up all that well for the New York Jets. They dropped a 25-6 decision to the New England Patriots in the home opener. And unfortunately for the green and white, the story was turnovers. Zach Wilson, 4 interceptions on his first 10 passes of the game. There were some positives for the New York Jets, though, certainly on Sunday. And on the offensive side of the ball, you have to start with the running game. 152 yards collectively, almost 5 yards a pop. And leading the way is the rookie out of North Carolina, Michael Carter, who really ran with a lot of purpose, who showed you that burst that the Jets thought were going to benefit them when they made him one of their picks in this year's draft, Cynthia. And you're seeing somebody right now that should be a big contributor for this team moving forward.
Yeah, you saw some really cool stuff, especially on when he was either contacted or when the scheme dictated that he needed to change directions. So, that kind of bounce to the outside, or on those short receptions, the kind of bounce after somebody sort of contacted him or he rolled off. So this was something in college that he was very good at. Actually, both of the North Carolina running backs, we'll talk about that later, they're both very good at it, is forcing missed tackles or getting out of coverage, meaning getting away from a defender, breaking tackles, forcing missed tackles. This was really good. So if you look to see, especially on those outside pops, that was good. Morgan Moses was super helpful with that. The O-line looked better than expected, helping the run game. The scheme really fit what Michael Carter can do. So it's super promising. These are flashes of things like, we got ourselves a running back here.
And the more time this offensive line plays with one another, they get more familiarity with that zone blocking scheme, as you said, that is now predicated to make this running game pop. Hopefully you see more of that moving forward in the future. Now, when you look over on the defensive side of the ball, Cynthia, by and large, they did a good job of keeping this team in the football game on Sunday. After all, 16 of the Patriots' 25 points came off of those Jets miscues. And we have to single out again a member of that defensive line. That's John Franklin Myers. 2 games into the season, he's got 2 sacks. He's got 5 quarterback pressures. It's only 2 weeks into the season here, Cynthia, but John Franklin Myers looks to be a candidate to really have a breakout season here in 2021.
You didn't even mention his effectiveness in the run game. Come on, he stops the run too. So what I like about Jonathan Franklin Myers, I measure things like, I tried to come up with a metric that was kind of like WAR in baseball, right? How do you measure an individual contribution factor for a player in football? We got 11 moving pieces on each side. It's very difficult. So I call it win share. And no one has a bigger win share so far this season on this team. I mean, it's 2 games, but still, Jonathan Franklin Myers has the biggest win share uptick in that one. So I'm like, he's fun to watch. I'm a big fan.
Talking about sacks, that's a perfect segue into our first prop bet for the show here today. And we're going to talk about the sack department for the game against the Denver Broncos. Who do you think has more sacks on Sunday afternoon? Is it going to be John Franklin Myers, or is it going to be Von Miller on the Denver Broncos side of things?
Well, the Denver Broncos, I know that Teddy Bridgewater has these electric numbers, but they run the ball quite a bit, which means I think that it's unfortunately going to be probably Denver, because I think that the Jets will pass more, and I think that the Broncos will run more. So there's fewer opportunities.
I'm going to actually go on the flip side, Cynthia. I'll say John Franklin Myers. Jets are going to make sure that Von Miller does not beat them, whether it's going to be 2 hats on him, 3 hats on him, whatever it is. I think he's going to have a tough time navigating there on Sunday afternoon. I'll say JFM is going to ring up the sack totals once again here for the green and white. Jet fans certainly hope that's the case. Now, when we return on the Numbers Game presented by WynnBET, we're going to get a little bit more into the opponent coming up, the 2-0 Denver Broncos on Sunday afternoon. This is the Numbers Game presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET.
Good to have you boys back.
You know how it is. We never really left.
Slow down, though, will you? I gotta make my picks.
You want to get on this win bet with me?
I like where your head's at, but Boston's not covering.
WynnBET, huh?
Yep.
Bet any game, any time, and you bet with win, so it's the best.
You don't need to cover?
Look at the numbers.
Look at the offense.
With what, Frank? A microscope?
Go with Boston, Ben.
Don't worry, Frank, I already made my picks. I just wanted to see you two go at it.
You have an allegiance to Boston right now, but
That's called common sense.
common to who? Bostonians?
And welcome back to the Numbers Game presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. Dan Graca alongside Cynthia Frelund. And now let's segue, Cynthia, into the opponent coming up here for Sunday's game. It's the 2-0 Denver Broncos. They have victories against the Giants and against the Jaguars to kick off the season. Now they go back home to what figures to be a very rowdy environment. It's the home opener. The Bronco fans are going to be excited, and for good reason. This team is 7th in total offense thus far. They're 3rd in total defense. Jets are going to have to play their best football if they want to hang around in this one.
Okay, it's been 2 games, so we can kind of take these numbers with a grain of salt, right? But as of right now, they're allowing the lowest completion percentage, 51.4 in the NFL, the defense, of course, and then the 3rd lowest passer rating, 65.5. But remember, everything's about context. So Jags and Giants, this is not necessarily, this doesn't mean that it's gloom and doom situation. This is a very good defense, absolutely, but it's not unbeatable, right? These are some contextualized wins. Remember, every game, the difference between kind of opponent 1 and opponent 3, you get some more fluidity with each other. You get some opportunity to create rhythm. It's not gloom and doom.
And maybe the Jets and Zach Wilson take some of the lessons that they saw on film from last week when Denver played a fellow rookie in Trevor Lawrence and gave him some fits. Maybe the Jets can learn from those and maybe improve upon them as they take the field on Sunday. That Broncos rushing attack is worth discussing here. They're 5th in the NFL through 2 weeks of the season, and that two-headed monster in the backfield, the veteran Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, the rookie from North Carolina, who was backfield mates with Jet rookie Michael Carter. They both gained 1,000 yards last year in Chapel Hill. They are one to look out for.
Well, first thing you need to know is that Javonte Williams' nickname is Pookie. So how often do you get to say Pookie in a show about numbers? I'm going to take that opportunity. The second thing you need to know is that both of them were top 5 in FBS in forced missed tackles. So yards after contact are a more predictive metric. So college yards after contact translating to the ability to run really well in the NFL. That's a nice thing to look at if you're kind of seeing what kind of rookie could have success. Both of them had really nice numbers in that metric out of college.
I actually went to school with a Pookie, as a matter of fact, but that's neither here nor there. All right, let's get into another prop bet here, and this is for the total points of this football game. And this is our specialty. At least it's been through the first 2 weeks of the season because we nailed the first 2 games, you and I. So the total points for Jets Broncos is 41. Are you thinking over? Are you thinking under? What do you think?
I have a higher score projected than that. I think that there's going to be some interesting. What Zach Wilson has going is that those passes are going to connect. He's not going to make the same mistakes. And what you see is that if you take big plays being something like, 20 plus completions in the passing game or 10 plus rushes, those are big plays. Well, the Jets and the Broncos are both tied for 4th most. So they'll pay off. They'll start paying off.
I'm starting to see like a 47 number swirling in my head between these 2 teams. So I agree with you. I think it is going to be of the higher scoring variety here. Hopefully the green and white come out on top, though, and they come home with their first victory of the season. All right, that's Cynthia Frelund. I'm Dan Graca. Thanks for joining us here on the Numbers Game, everybody. Presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. Thanks for watching. So long.